Well, welcome and happy equinox. So I'm going to do a spread today on this equinox energy. Equinox energies are about new cycles. It's a new season, and they're quite potent time for a shift and change of energy. So how I'm going to do this is, firstly, I'm going to do a world spread, and we're going to look at collectively what to expect for the next 3 months. And then I'm going to do pick a colour card option. So I'm going to do 4 spreads, and I've got 4 colours that you can choose from to get your own more in-depth reading for what to expect for the next 3 months. So before I start the world spread, pick a colour. The colours are red, green, yellow and blue. So have a think what colour you'd like to choose out of red, green, yellow or blue, and I'll be doing individual readings for those, and you can look in the comments below to see the minutes in for those readings. Okay, so starting with the collective, looking for the world. This is more of a general spread, looking at world events or what we can expect for the next 3 months on a common level energetically. So for this I'm going to use the Zodiac spread. I find it works well when I'm doing collective readings. Okay. Sorry you can't see the cards, but anything that looks exciting I will hold up to show you. Okay, so this looks relatively non-stressful so far. It's showing here how we are feeling, and this first placement represents us. It represents we the people, how we're feeling, how we are expressing ourselves on an individual level. And that looks like we are in a very good space, actually. We're in a space where we are ready to help others, where we are either being helped by others or we are ready to be of assistance to others if in need. Also a time when we are we have the High Priestess here, so it's a time when we are being sort of encouraged to go within, have a look at a deeper level of what is right for us, trusting the intuition. So here where we have an opportunity or a situation that could be presented to us, sort of, not jumping at a situation, but just, going internally and, really reading what resonates, what feels right, because what resonates and what feels right is all about the High Priestess. This is where we honour ourselves. In our female principle, we honour our intuition and our sense of our true self, our knowing who we are and what our needs are. So really complementary with the generosity card, with the card of assistance and help offered from others. And again, this can represent us, encouraging others to go within, encouraging others to seek their own answers. Now it's sitting opposite 5, 6, 7, sitting opposite this freedom card, this freedom of expression, freedom of personal expression. And this is also relating to us and others, or us and relationships. So what these cards are sort of indicating is that this is a time to be your true, authentic self, to not hold back, to believe in yourself, as the Strength card really encourages. It also is a time when we need to put the ego aside and see a bigger picture, not to take things personally. But, generally with this card we have the 8 of Rods. This is fast movement, it's travel. This also can represent holidays, time away. It sort of, it reminds me of being at the beach and just feeling that sense of freedom, feeling your spirit fully connecting to your body and feeling fully aware of who you truly are. So it's sort of not a time of being work and just, you know, focusing on what you do in your work career. It's more of a time of who am I really? What do I really enjoy? So it looks really nice. Also looks nice for relationships. Looks like if there's offers or opportunities, you know, through partners, saying, you know, let's have a holiday, let's have a break, let's have some downtime together. We can really express ourselves. You know, this would be a great time to be doing this, especially for the month of October. So here we are looking at our financial situations, and finances could be having a little bit of a challenge here, sort of saying don't move too quickly. This card here, it's sort of slow and persevering. It's sort of saying something new is coming in around security, but it's still a process. So when we say new, it's not like a new unexpected thing. It's more like we're building it up. We're adding to. We've got maybe new opportunities to build up or add to what we have. We have a disappointment card with this, but this is more of a mental disappointment where we can think something's not going the way we want it to, but it may be that it's because it's not actually meant to go that way. Like we may not know what the right way is. So it's sort of saying just be patient with situations around assets and security, even if it's relative to work. Now, opposite that, we have really good cards, really good movement cards, sort of again, you know, cards that relate to travel and movement, but they're also relating to just getting on with things. And the card above it is a celebration card. It's a card when we go, okay, now this is a time where we can not only celebrate, but do more with others. So it can relate to teams and groups of people. And so it's sort of saying that, you know, yes, there might be some limitations around finances, but what we can do with others is extremely grand, and it's going to be quite transformative in the future. Teamwork is going to be extremely beneficial. You may find work is involving more of an effort of what can be done in collaboration with others. So yeah, again, a great time for connecting up with others as well, having holidays, and again, October, November. We would think we'd be talking about December, January for that, but for some reason, November sort of saying great time to be reconnecting up with others or getting on the right teams, groups of people. Great things going on socially as well during that time. So may have to put some more cards just to get a bit more clarity on that one, because that one's got me really curious. So as we're moving into here more into the space of the mind, how are we thinking, how are we feeling, what's going on for us? Now it's a time where we can sort of gather our ideas and our thoughts and really do something constructive with them. So this again feels like we're talking about September, October for this timing, even up to Christmas. This is about, you know, our constructive use of, you know, whether it's a business we're wanting to set up, could be like a, you know, this is sort of indicating like a small businesses, or, you know, constructive ideas, sort of nurturing type, like as they're called, cottage industries, you know. So really, again, positive things for small businesses. So sort of meaning that you might have some ideas what you're wanting to do. You know, next year is showing to be really productive, and you might have been sitting on this waiting for the right timing. It's saying that the right timing's coming in, the financial resources are coming in for around Christmas time, and, you know, you're going to be able to get on with your ideas and your plans really quickly. So there seems to be some news and some very positive changes around our security again. Now this is sort of talking, this place talks about the home, it talks about our security, our safe place. Now the cards here are sort of showing this is more of a adventurous sort of cards. These cards are more about travel, they're more about experience than just, you know, settling into the home situation. You know, the home situation is actually sitting here in the mind, so it's sort of more looking at what we really want from the home situation, looking at sort of the lifestyle we want, and whether we're wanting to make more security for ourselves through our assets, where this seems to be more about news, about being able to expand and grow assets in other ways. Now, it does have a lot to do with other places and overseas, or being back and forth, or could be relative to holiday places, or having a second home in a completely different area. But there does seem to be some decisions around travel, and also coming up for some people here, and also where do you want to live? Is it where you're located now? Is there somewhere else for you? So options and choices around property, where it may have felt this has all been held up and it's been a really difficult time to make decisions about where you want to live, or to sell or buy, not being able to find what you like. This is actually saying that what is perfect for you, you really haven't been able to see yet, but you're going to see it in the very near future. And, this goes back to the High Priestess sort of saying, just trust your intuition knows what's right for you. Your higher self knows what's right for you, but your lower mind, your more, your conscious mind, but not your super conscious mind, may think that there's something else, or may think it knows what's right for you, but sort of saying the universe knows what's right for you, and that's what's coming in. As you're going to be able to see that, but I think it's sort of saying you will experience it before you see it. So, sorry, you'll experience it before you decide on it. Well, you may experience it before you see it in your dreams or something like that. So here we have, our creative expression, our ability to connect with others, and sort of our downtime, our enjoyment. And, again, it's a great time to be connecting up with people that you feel it's a give and take thing. So in some cases, we may feel some connections, relationships, friendships, people we connect with, and when we do connect with people, it is an energetic share. And so sometimes we can feel a bit, a bit tired or exhausted from situations because the energy was just going one way. And that is because this person is not connecting to their heart to possibly the level that you are. So, you might find you being a bit fussier, or you might find there's a time here for, where you're being really particular about who you want to connect with and who you want to share with. Now, there are definitely some big changes coming up again around social connections, around people that you want to share with, and any situations where people seem to be sort of either too stressed out or unclear on what direction they're wanting to go in. Also, sort of like when I say stressed out, it's like they may feel their nerves have been really taxed, things have been in upheaval, and that it's sort of hard to calm them down. Again, you just got to be patient with people. If you're not feeling the connection, then again, just, consciously be aware of pulling your energy back. What I do is I call it like shrink wrapping my spirit body to my physical body, so that my energy is not just going out here, then everywhere with no control. And, that doesn't mean that you're not giving your love out. It actually means that you're containing more for you. You're more grounded, and you actually are able to be of more assistance, rather than feeling flustered and feeling like I can't deal with this. So I'm saying that because for some reason I feel like around January here, December, January, we've got sort of lots of really good news coming out, really productive news coming out. But for around this time, this could have some people feeling a little bit unsettled and not really knowing where to, what direction to move in, or where to get information from, or who to connect with. So again, I think it's just a bit of a time to reassess, and this is a time for everybody to put into practice going within and really asking themselves what feels right. What does my heart feel around the situation? Not what my head's telling me, but what is my heart connecting to? And if you visualize like a column of light spiraling into your heart, and that going up through to your mind, while you're in this, I can't think, I can't give any answers, I feel confused. If you can just slow down, focus on your breath and visualize that light column coming in through to your heart, you might find that sort of activates the mind into what the truth is of the situation. So it's quite an interesting 3 months, not really like intense major arcana energies. We do have here within our workplace and what we're doing on a sort of daily level, how we spend our time. Again, it seems to be the energies we're spending it with, the people that are special to us. It seems to be a lot about changes around work coming up for next year for a lot of people here, but also working in conjunction with others, and also sort of very important connections either around you now coming in to bring in new opportunities for career and work, and real fated times around family, around friends, around our soul family, that sort of put us on a new track. Now, soul family can be really important to us, but we may not have a lot to do with them throughout the whole existence of our life. We may find that they just come in on a certain cycle, and we know we come sort of full circle with the cycle. They seem to come in and let us know about a situation, offer us a place to stay, bring us into a new situation. There could be the right partner, there could be the right working circumstance, there could be the right environment to be living in. But either way, this all seems to come through the people that sort of have proven to be important in your life, even though they're not necessarily featured in your life on a day-to-day basis. The other side of that too is that you might find people that you'll want to spend more time with, people that you're wanting to come in on a day-to-day basis to be around, whether work around, those that you're very like-minded with and have excuse me, a lot in common with. You may find that again this is the timing for you to be fatedly working with them. And according to these cards, we would be looking at February, going through February, March, April, even May, next year. Really, really strong time to be, making big plans with others, again, that we have strong connections with. So we do have options and choices. It does look like there's a lot of good security around us. Yes, we do have decisions around our security. But, I feel like as we're coming to the end of this Uranus energy and Taurus, we are getting to really reassess our values, our principles, what we put a lot of emphasis on, and, where our values really stand, what is really important to us, and, how that affects our life, our attitudes, and our decisions. So, again, really good opportunities here. Now, I have, sort of included this right up to February, March, and I feel it's important when we're on an equinox energy time to sort of look at this spring or autumn equinox to the next one. And when I do the world spread, it sort of always tends to go bigger picture for the year. So now we're going to look at the elements, because I didn't really want to give away what it's doing, but we'll say the colours. So again, red, green, yellow or blue. And I just think it's important, go with you whatever you think first. I don't want you to think about what element suits you. I want you to think about the colour and the energies that you're inquiring about today. And go to the comments, and unless you chose fire, because that's my first one, sorry, red, which is fire. That's the first one I'm doing. If you chose green, blue or yellow, again go to the comments and you can skip this. Okay, so the colour red. Let's have a look at what this next 3 months is going to look like for you guys. Okay, So the cards are sort of indicating, sort of things that you have to be put into place and organise. And I sort of smiled to myself with this, hang in there, be patient, because, if you picked red, you're not really in the patient mood. You just want to get on with your ideas, your plans, your projects, relationships, whatever it may be that you desire. You really just want to move into the life that you prefer. So an ace has come up as the first card, and so that is saying, yes, there are plans put in place, but you still are needing some strategy here and some organisation around that. So I think, a strong message here for those that chose red is actually slow down, is sort of saying, well, at the same time, you're going to quite like the fact there is a lot going on in a very short period of time. So what we have here is, I would say, September, October, those 2 months, even in November, but more evident in October here, where it's like, finally, I can move forward. Finally, we have this breakthrough coming where we can sort of release everything that's been holding us back and move forward. So, it's like change coming, but change coming hard and fast, and getting everything together. And it's sort of like that when you make that impulsive move, that impulsive decision to just move out, where you hadn't thought about it 2 weeks before, or you're, going to change your life in an instant. So it's sort of like, with fire, like, again, that's not scary for fire, because, and also it's sort of saying that in the past and still sort of today, there's still a feeling of, feeling a little bit restricted, and fire doesn't like that. Nobody likes to feel restricted. But, again, the patient factor isn't quite so predominant. But at the same time, while we're waiting, or while there's, having to be patient, or while there's hold-ups, again, planning and organising and communicating with others is really important. But I do have some exciting news coming up here. It seems to be one that is really close to your heart. One might be relative to relationship, or might be relative to just your passion and your desires. But you will be making the changes that you're wanting to make, especially when it comes to relationships. I feel like this is sort of it's a time for union, it's a time for getting together with others, but it's also a time where relationships and taking things to a new level within relationships and connections. There could be some issue here with disappointment with those that aren't really like straight up like you, or you feel haven't been so straight up. It feels a bit wishy-washy. It feels like they've been unreliable, or that they change your mind, or they let you down. Now, when we feel let down, quite often we set ourselves up to feel let down because we place expectations on others. And so I think the key with that, to not feel disappointed in others, is to not place unrealistic expectations on others. And I think any expectation quite often is unrealistic. It's not that we shouldn't have expectations of what we want or what we would like, but we do tend to make them unrealistic, because when we're dealing with human nature, and human nature is unpredictable. Human nature does chop and change, and we do it ourselves. So I think it's. My point with this is that I think if you pick red today, where you could potentially feel disappointed, and you may not be experiencing this now. I'm reading what, is coming up for the next 3 months. But if you did feel disappointed, again, it's what's really got to you is that you felt this person wasn't being straight up with you. This person wasn't, just speaking the truth like you do, and that's because this person has got a lot of emotions going on, and they're controlled more by their emotions. So if they're not feeling emotionally, if they're feeling a bit emotionally hurt or scared, they may say things, promise things that they can't do. If they're feeling guilt, or if they're feeling... So when we're being a bit more controlled by our emotions, we tend to say what people want to hear, but not really be speaking our truth. And when they say it, they could be very genuine in what they're saying because they do mean it from their heart. But it's unrealistic because they can't take the action, like that fire energy that you're containing, that it's like that would just do it without even saying it, would just surprise that person or would just come out with it, so to speak. So what I'm sort of getting with that is, take a sort of step back when you can feel disappointed with someone, because, if we change our perspective on it, and understand that, we're all different. Some people, they say what they really want to happen, but then they don't have the abilities, or the emotional strength to actually make it happen sometimes, because they're being controlled by their emotions again, fear, guilt, pain, etc., etc., past worry, hurt, and then see, of course, what happens there is that the energy can get projected onto us. So in other words, we could be feeling really good, and then this person, promised us something, and then they let us down, and now there's no hope for anything because we put all our hope into that. Again, our perspective needs to be changed on that, because, really it needs to go back to maybe what you're needing is that someone else that has that fire energy, or maybe you're looking to that person because they can emotionally give you what you really need. At the same time, because they are so connected to their emotions actually affect the doing part of their life. So I hope that made sense to some. The other thing in here seems to be that opportunities are coming up here again to extend your skills. So you may be in a position where, you've learned a lot of stuff over the years, and you're thinking, well, what's next? How do I incorporate everything I've learned into the one and step into, that true, that path in which I've been working towards for quite a long time. And it feels like there's opportunities here to do that. So again, for anyone who picked red, this is a time to believe in yourself. It's a time to have the courage to really step into the changes, to trust the universe is absolutely looking after you, and that there are some very fated changes coming in. And I feel like, don't put your hopes on anyone, only yourself. So you can only really be disappointed with yourself. And when we're disappointed with ourselves, that is a hard one to let go of. When it's with others, we can shrug it off. We can just accept that so the way they are. When we feel we've let ourselves down, we can be extremely hard on ourselves. So I think it's really important, again, connecting to the heart, not letting the head overrule. When we're wanting something, when we're making a decision about something, is it because our head thinks that this is the desired goal that we want, or is it because our heart is absolutely singing because this is what we feel is 100% right for us? Because if it's coming from that point of opportunity where the head thinks this is the opportunity that we need, and if we don't get it, this isn't going to, this is going to be disastrous for us because we worked so hard for it, blah, blah, blah. Head wants to tell us all this stuff, where, the heart might be going, oh no, that doesn't actually feel right. Because if you're not going to be happy in that situation, it's really not going to work out. And of course it will be perceived as a failure. Not that I believe anything is a failure or a success. This is all, again, perceptions. The other thing that seems to be coming up here, for those that picked the fiery red colour, is soul connections, again, coming up for better communication, for deeper understanding. Miscommunications can happen, misunderstandings, dwelling on past, or dwelling on how they are stuck in past, or keep repeating certain patterns or cycles. It's actually going to be a good time to be expressing that, communicating it. So what it sort of feels like is, when we are stuck, when we're repeating patterns that are from experience. Now, sometimes they're from our own experience. Sometimes these are our epigenetic recordings from our ancestors, where we don't even know why we have these responses, reactions, but we do know that from certain words or certain things we get triggered into a certain response, and then we feel we go around this emotional cycle. So it's a good time to really release that. And where I was going with that was, those patterns are unconscious behaviour. So when we get to discuss it, we can actually look at it objectively and see it, bring it into the conscious awareness. Once we recognize what we're doing, once we recognize the unconscious pattern or the trigger, this is where it can just simply dissolve, and we can find resolve so much faster. Rather than getting pulled into the energetics of others through their thoughts and through their words, we can actually hold our energy so much stronger through the non-reaction to the negative patternings. So if you picked red, this is a great time for change for you. It's a great time for relationships for you. It's a great time for healing past hurts. And even though these past hurts are showing here, encouraging others to not be scared to speak their truth, to help them to understand that you have no expectation of them, that to help them to understand that your love is unconditional, so that you're not placing conditions upon them, will actually help them to open up to their fire, to be upfront and honest about how they're feeling, and then they can sort of understand that the issue isn't with you, because you'll have a reaction to their emotional state. The issue is actually going back to them, because they are needing to clear or heal whatever it is that holds them back from being able to live or speak their truth. So I hope that helped you guys that chose red. And next we're going on to green. So if you chose green, you may have worked out green is earth. Green is grounded energy. It represents earth signs, and if you're not an earth sign, well, even better, because you've picked earth, because you're you're connected with the earthly things, or you're interested in knowing about the earthly things right now, whether that's to do with the world, whether that is to do with your financial situation, your security, your job, career. Earth is very much about what we're here to do. It sort of covers our skills, our creative energy. It covers our work and career, and it covers sort of finance and business. So, there's a lot, of that here. So let's have a look and see what's going to come up for the colour green. All of you that chose the colour green for the next 3 months. And of course, equinox energy, carries on for 3 months up to the solstice energy, just before Christmas Day. So I'm not sure exactly whether it's 21st, 22nd, 23rd, but around that timing, depending on where you are in the world. Okay. So, Earth. And of course, I've got lots of pentacles, which represent Earth. Okay, so again, we're getting big changes here. Well, Earth also represents health, so if you're interested in health, any issues around health, again, you may have chosen the colour green. Okay, so this is quite a lot of change going on here. So for you guys that have chosen this colour, you may have been, wanting to go a bit deeper into looking into, what's going to really be satisfying, fulfilling for you. Where do your passions lie? Some situations might have felt disappointing, whether that could even be emotional situations or relationship situations. And, or it may just be that you've been too busy to think about even having a partner, but it's like you've been focused on other things. You've been focused on sort of more of an inner search, more on yourself actually, and more on what you're wanting to do and create for yourself. And I would say quite often this comes under the, description of work, but I would say passionate work, work that you're passionate about, work that you're really, enjoying and wanting to do more of and wanting to learn more about. Also research, doing a lot of research seems to be coming up in this spread as well. So it's sort of a time where you've been, again, learning about what's who you are, but also, what you really are wanting to work towards for the future. And again, it does look like sort of being on your own has been a bit more desirable, or that you just prefer, your own company because, sometimes you might feel a bit too sensitive. Your sort of your nerves might be overstimulated from the work you've been doing, and it's like you need some time to yourself to just recuperate because of all the energy exchanges that have been going on through the work. So it's like, also again, I'm getting research, spending time alone, anything where you get to get your head down and just completely nullify yourself, like meditation, but not even meditation like gardening, things where, because meditation, sometimes you're still using mind energy. This is about not having to think. You could be working out in the garden, and then it's like, different thoughts go through your head, and then you find you're just being at full pace. You could be painting and just realise that, it's been, you haven't had a single thought for an hour. You've just been in this place of bliss. Anything that gives you that. Studies can do that for some people, but whatever it is, it's like, you don't want to be bothered by others because you're in this inner space. Turn your phone off, or leave it somewhere else so you can't hear it or be distracted by it, because my sense is that you're actually finding that that's not where you're really wanting to be at for over the next sort of, I'd sort of say the next sort of 4 weeks. I'd say sort of from now till the end of October. It's just getting on, putting your head down and just getting on with all these different things and ideas that you have going on. So there is a lot here to consider for your future security, and as I said, this colour green is for that. Sorry, see, and this is this is giving you a lot of variety, lots of things to think about, lots of options and choices. Again, stilling the mind is going to be quite important, because it's like, where are my best, say, investments? Where am I best investing my time, my energy, my space? And of course you need variety, and it's sort of saying there's lots of variety here, but I would be doing things like, for this particular sign, 100%, I think you need 1,000 milligrams of magnesium a day. And I say that because a lot of the pills out there now are only 200 or 300. They should be at least 1,000 when you've got sort of high energy level, like in these cards, which can be a bit taxing on the nervous system, and also like it's sort of a high stress energy coming up because there is so much change. Now that change can look exciting. There's a lot here to be excited about, and you've got the Ace of Cups here sitting in your mind. This is the place of your head, and really for your mental health, this is the most important placement to, that I look at. At the same time, when the cards aren't great, this is when I can really talk about, getting in a better mental state, because your cards are actually fine, the outcome's fine, what's going on in your life isn't as bad as you think it is. So in this case, it's sort of like, yeah, there's a lot going on, but you're actually feeling excited and fine about it. So that indicates to me that this isn't high stress mind, this is sort of high stress energetically. So, I'll just show you those nice blue, sorry, the glare there. But, we have the Ace of Cups here. This is all about sharing with others. This can represent family, and it's like a sisterhood, brotherhood card here, and decisions to be made. And so I sort of see that as with others. It could be your soul sister, your soul brother, your, biological brother or sister. But, it's sort of saying that you're really excited to be sharing with that you feel so connected with, and there's some plans and decisions to make with someone else that fully knows you, that fully gets you. So, it also indicates new love, new excitement, and that within that new love, it will be like a brother or sister, in the sense that you will fully understand each other, you will fully get each other, and you'll feel like you've known each other for a very long time. And that could even be the case. So where you're speculating about either work or work options or investment options or business options, there does seem to be some news about being able to get on with a certain area of work or focus that you're wanting. Then there will be a little bit of a delay within that. Now that's going to be circumstantial. It will not be in your control, and it's sort of saying there may be some hold-ups for a short period of time here where things will feel quite unsettled, where you may be concerned about security, you may be concerned about your career, but this is actually going to blow away, because what I'm describing here is the tower, for those that are familiar with tarot. It's sitting here in the outcome, but it's sort of going to blow away all your concerns for your future, because you sort of haven't been able to quite, you've been able to see it, but you haven't been able to quite see where it's going. And it's because what's been blocking it has been it's been a bit of an upheaval. There's a period of time here where and I feel with these two cards, we're talking about 1 to 2 weeks. So 1 to 2 weeks, I would say sort of 10 actually, with that 10 there, 10 days of not being able to see clearly where you're going. Now, this could be a collective thing. I have done a whole collective spread and I didn't feel things were so bad. The universe doesn't seem to see things the way we do at times. But because this is more of a personal spread, it sort of feels like there's going to be some sort of hold up or delay around situations and crossovers of, whether you're changing your career, whether you're changing your property, and that isn't going to be for everybody pick green. That's going to be for everybody. And so this is just circumstantial. But I feel like if you chose green, you're more likely to be looking at, doing changes and life changes around, career, business or property. So interesting, because I'm going to put 2 more out on this because it just feels very potent. There is going to be good news, but again, there's just a little bit of a wait where there's a hold up. So I think this is more of a collective thing happening. And the last 2, yes, I felt they were going to be really strong. Don't worry, this is going to be really successful. So in other words, the way I see this is you're already doing what you're wanting to do. You're already sort of, finding your passion, where you're going to be throwing yourself into it more so over the next couple of months. You're going to be quite particular and choosy about who you're around, because you're connecting with people that you've got big plans with, and it's really quite exciting. You could be moving with family, you could be doing quite new things, and then there's this hold up there. I'll show you the cards just so you can see. It's a little bit tough, and it's just a bit of a healing time. It's just a bit of time of just stepping back and slowing down before getting on with the bigger picture, because the bigger picture is just, otherwise it's momentum. If it didn't slow down, would be warp speed. It would be too intense. You'd miss the journey part of it as well, and maybe there's a few adjustments that need to take place. But I do know whatever it is, it's going to be some more beneficial as it sorts itself out. And then we have the 2 fabulous cards up here. These are fantastic. The world is like, this is where everything is coming to you. This is like the world's at your fingertips, so to speak. This is about, joining in celebration with others. This is bringing all your dreams to reality. But it's also about celebration on a large scale. So, in other words, the completion is like you're working towards this thing, you're excited about the new things that are coming in, and then you think, but I can't finish this because there's something holding it up. There's a delay, there's no completion. And then we have the World card, the completion card, with a 10, which is another form of completion, but it's also completion and celebration for everyone. So that looks fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed that. For those that chose for those that chose green. So that moves us on to yellow. And yellow, of course, represents air, and air represents the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Now again, if you're not that sign and you chose yellow, that's because you're wanting to know about, you're wanting more stimulation. You're wanting to know more about interactions. You might want to know more about relationships. You're wanting quite a few changes actually to come into your life. And also you might have quite a bit of air going on there in your full astrology chart. So let's have a look at the colour yellow for the next 3 months. Okay, so we do seem to be getting the Tower coming up. The good thing about the air energy is air is adaptable, extremely adaptable. So Earth can be a bit more fixed and can take knocks back a bit harder because it doesn't always see the big picture or doesn't always understand, see, it's just dealing with what's in front of it, pretty much. He, she. Where air is like, it's like the clouds. It's like, oh, you can have a rainstorm and, it can look really scary and thunder and lightning. And then the next minute, the sun's out and birds are singing and it's a completely different. And it's like the clouds just keep moving and changing. So we are in change. We've had the Tower come up. Wow. We've got the Tower coming up in every spread. And I say well because, I do feel like we're in quite a big time of change, of expect the unexpected, of sudden news coming in, turning things around. And, of course, air represents information, news, thoughts, words, communication, relationships, and so on and so on, ideas, inventions, Anyway, where we have the Tower, I just have to show you this combination because I work with threes with the tarot. Because I'm a midpoint astrologer, and which is A plus B, and midpoint is C. So here we have the Tower with the Fool, which is a whammy, and with the Four Swords, you see. So the Tower is sort of very Uranian in the sense that but it's like Uranus Pluto in a way. It's sort of like, okay, let's break down the old to create the new. This can no longer go on, It's like, a couple could be in a bad relationship and the death card will keep coming up saying, yeah, this is, you sort of dying slowly. And then the Tower comes up. Now, the Tower represents the divorce, the final drama, the thing that pushes you out of the home. Literally things are burning down here. So, with that, it sort of really is the whole, it's the real end in the sense that, the whole tower's coming down. It's, you're not even going to be able to see any remnants of it once it's fallen. So, Tower can represent, of course, divorce. Sometimes it can represent things like terminations, and it also can represent divorce and redundancy sometimes, because when we feel pushed out, because it does this pushing out. So when we're refusing to recognize where we need to make changes, where we need to address the death card that comes up, the Tower comes in and just goes, okay, bang, right, this has got to go. Now that's got that Uranian energy where when it comes, it just comes bang, even though it was sort of predictable because you could see it breaking down. It was really a matter of time. But when it comes down with a bang. And this is what I use as my Uranus card. So this is the expect the unexpected card. As you see, there's something coming down. He can't see. His eyes are covered. And it's coming through the clouds, very air, very much an air card. But it's like bang, it's fast, it's sudden. It's like, sometimes it could be that sudden realization. It could be like a vision, if you were using that in a psychic way, it would be like you'd be seeing something, from a sort of from a spirit, from another dimension. So with this, it's like it's a whammy, and it's here in the mind. So air is going to go into a little bit of a panic, but see, they thrive on drama. To be honest, air energy sort of thrives on change, and and is wanting it. It's sort of going to embrace it. But it is going to be at a collective level, and I think because I'm sort of dividing this up into the elements, and like when I looked at the financial side of things, and for those concerned with finances, it did sort of look like, you know, there was going to be some sort of delay with things, and then bang, things are going to really be moving big time for next year. And this is sort of indicated here too, financially, really good things are coming in for us. But here with the air, it's sort of like this, to me, sort of represents at a collective level that, you know, we're going to get some big news coming in. That's just going to be changes that we just were not perceiving. And for those that picked yellow, you're going to be quite affected by this, but you're also going to get really excited. Now, for earth, I did recommend high levels of magnesium, and I would say the same for air. I think air should be on magnesium anyway, especially if you're a Gemini or an Aquarius. Libra not so much, they can be a bit more relaxed, but also Virgo's another one, that's an earth one, but that, you know, could do well with magnesium. But I think we should all be doing with it, because again, we could be in a little bit of shock, but excitement as well. And so this is, you know, we've got 3 aces here in the spread for air. So in other words, if you picked yellow, and yellow does represent change, it represents sort of coming into a whole new energy. You know, there's 3 aces here, 2 predominantly the strongest, and 1 is relative around relationship, around expanding your heart. And so anyone who's looking for a relationship that's chosen yellow, it looks like that's coming in the not too distant future. There seems to be some really good situations around relationships here, offers and opportunities. It's also a time to share. When I was talking about, you know, air is very adaptable, you know, that relates a lot to the Gemini energy. And, you know, this is all about, Geminis don't like to be on their own. You know, they're a twin. They're like, where's my twin? Okay, you know, being on my own is quite hard. So, you know, this is saying that you're going to get to really share with someone who you can grow with, someone who you can be adaptable with. And, you know, Gemini is really adaptable, but they need an adaptable partner as well. If you get someone who's too fixed, you're not going to be happy to, oh, they do their own thing and I do mine. You know, they want to share and interact a lot. So we're looking really good for new relationships. Also a great time, even if it's not to do with relationships, but really just to do with getting into the position, the situation, the ideal situation that you're wanting for yourself. You know, that looks like that could excite you enough in your heart chakra as well. Excuse me. You know, opening up to your heart energy, feeling your heart energy. You know, there's a command I do, which has been done by, you know, this is found online. Quite a few people are doing these commands now. It's getting really popular, and it's fantastic. It works really well, and I would use that actually for this time. And you know what you say, and you say it out loud, is I command my spirit take the thoughts in my head and drop them into my heart now. And you say it 3 times. I command my spirit to take the thoughts in my head and drop them into my heart now. And you'd say it a 3rd time, and then you can do a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now, or 3, 2, 1, now. The now is important, saying it out loud is important, commanding your spirit is important, because your spirit wants to know how to help, wants to know. It's like having this conversation with your higher self, for want of a better word, where, you know, when you do that, you'll find you feel calmer. I feel calmer now. And then you just sit and relax in that calm, and then your heart will go, this is an opportunity. This isn't as scary as it looks, and yes, everything's uncertain, but this is a big opportunity for me to really find what I'm looking for, to really find what's going to make me happy. And, you know, there's a lot of that here for the air. You know, also good financial situations. So here with the Ace of Pentacles, you know, the main important card is the middle one, with the way I read these. So, you know, this is abundance. This is actually having everything you need. Now, you know, it can be seen as large sums of money to actually achieve goals. It can be seen as having, you know, a great harvest of something that is going to be really, really beneficial. You know, it's whatever abundance means to you. So when we say, oh, I'd like abundance, you know, we might have a great, you know, a great harvest of apples on our tree. She's covered. She's got grapes around her. This is all about what she loves and having lots and lots of it. And this is sort of saying that this is a time to enjoy. Abundance is what we perceive it to be. It's also with these other two cards around it, sort of saying, new career, or, it does feel like it's a lot of coins here with this card, particularly here, or opportunity to make some really good money in your work circumstance. And combined with this card, it's about your passion. So in other words, what your heart desires, because I feel this is quite a heart card of appreciation, of enjoyments, of abundance, and so combined with passion and new energies around security, again, that leads to way better things, whether it's to do with physical assets or whether it's to do with your career. There's the passion and the enjoyment of it, as well as the financial rewards. And the outcome with this for air was interesting, because swords are all over this, which is the air, is the Ace of Swords. So this is about getting what you want. You might want to travel. You might want to you might be pursuing a legal situation with the Justice card there. But I feel like this is more spiritual justice. This is more about, your passion and your desire with the Rods card here, the Knight of Rods. He goes out and he's like very determined to achieve what he wants. And this is sort of about the right people in the right places looking after you all. And I feel like this could be collective too. Where we have people in the right places, really bringing us into a new time, because we are coming into a new time. We are coming into a new age. We are at the end of the age of Pisces, as you possibly have gathered, and, as we just move with Pluto, back into Capricorn for a couple of months, we're just doing that last part of Pluto, purging the world of business, of big corporations, and moving into the energy of Aquarius, which is about sharing, which is about, being resourceful. It's about ideas, it's innovative, it's revolutionary, and it's also about freedom, our personal will and our personal freedom. And, with that, we are going to be making leaps and bounds, not only within our own sovereign way of being and seeing ourselves, but also within technology, because Aquarius rules also technology and anything that is helpful for the community at large. So air, that looks so good, and again, really good confirmation for what I'm really sensing, which is, bringing us into a lot of changes. And because air is, it's an ideas energy, it's about the mind, we're going to a much better state of mind. So interesting, because we did have the stress there, sitting there because of the unexpected, and again we can command, our spirit to ground us and visualize, say to be fully grounded now, and just visualize our, roots growing from our feet down into the earth like a tree. Because we can't really enjoy all this change and excitement if we're ungrounded, and we can't be of much use if we're ungrounded. So lastly, we get to blue, and of course blue represents water, and water is about the emotions, it's about our spiritual connection, it's about our desires, our inner connection, sort of sees things on the grander scale of vibrational energy, sort of, and again connectedness. So the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. But if you chose blue, it's because you're wanting to know about your emotions, you're wanting to know about your passions, you're wanting to know about excuse me, it could even be your home life, your family, all the things you care about, the things connected to your heart. Water and cups relate to the heart. I want to know about love as well. So looking at the next 3 months. Well, looking pretty good. Looking pretty connected at a spiritual level, which is really good to see, especially for the sign of water, which is of course our spiritual body. Nice. So there's cups again, the water cup sign sitting here in the past. So it's saying that you have been learning a lot more about self-love lately. You've been learning more about you and what you enjoy and who you want to share with, and friendships, relationships. There may have been a new relationship come into your life recently, or you may just be really starting to feel what it is you actually want from a relationship, and what it is you want from your life, and what it is you want to share with others. So sort of that's going to be more of the focus. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be about others. It can be just about, like I said, this is about self-love. It could be more about what you're wanting to really express in yourself more so, how you want to help others, how you want to share with others, and feel more connected spiritually and emotionally to others. Okay, so there's a bit of healing going on here. Fantastic cards, though, really. I'm going to say a bit of healing. I think we've picked up the ace, because I think those that have chosen this one, they have been wanting to know about relationships, about the heart, about what makes them feel happy, and they have felt a bit tired of the old, and they just want to change their life. They want to find joy and happiness either in their own existing relationships or new relationships. Now, it's not just with relationships. They're wanting to find joy and excitement in their careers, and they're wanting to just find what they, even if it's their downtime and not their career, what do they really enjoy? So, if you've picked blue, you may even be thinking, should I just go into my own business? But what am I really excited about? You have a whole new cycle coming in. And there you've picked blue because you're sort of feeling the cycle. The cycle is for love. It's also going to be for a lot more security. And the security means emotional security, but physical security too. So anyone who's picked blue that's looking at property, it's going to be a really good time to free yourself up with more of what you're wanting. So free yourself up from mortgage, or free yourself up from responsibilities that you've had that have been sort of, relative to the home, because you may want to have some extra money for travel and for doing things that make you feel free, or you may decide you want to buy a property by the beach and have that lifestyle every day. So I'm getting this from these cards here, which is your security, which looks really good, by the way, and it's sitting next to the home. So these two cards I use for the home, this one in particular here, but the middle one is sort of represents a home, but to me it's the mortgage. It's like the money that's, it's cost to buy the home, but it's almost like, we can get out of that mortgage now we can move on and just have a really nice lifestyle. So, if you pick blue, you just want a better lifestyle, and you are going to get that, because this is a promise of it. This isn't saying, oh, please give me that. This is saying you have the opportunity for that, but you've got to take it. It's sitting in a position where it's above you. You can bring it in or push it away. It's going to be up to you. So not necessarily big decisions here, but I feel like once you recognise, like I said, this has been about self-love, once you recognise what it is that you're really wanting, that makes you happy, that makes you feel free, and I think the key to that is where do you feel a sense of freedom? As long as you have your security, of course, because that's, again, showing here that that's important. That's what you're going to recognise, and that's what you're going to get the opportunity to take on board. Now, for some, you may be thinking, I'd like to learn something new. Maybe I'll do some studies. Maybe I'll go into a different sort of career. And I feel like you can be being very, guided by your intuition at this time. So it's like there's something new you're wanting to do, but you can't quite see it yet. So just be patient with yourself, because here at the base, you've got a fantastic base as well. There's lots of major arcana cards in this, which means that this is quite a fated time for you if you pick, if you pick blue. And so here we have great cards together. The World card is, it's so much about bringing everything together, having everything at your fingertips to do what you want. This is a time to reap the rewards from your past cycle. It's a time to enjoy your life. It's a time where you can talk about passive income or work or creating something where you have passive income. But it would be like what you've been doing for a long time is going to start to really, really pay off, especially here where there's a patient card. Now this is like a wish card. This is like a new life, and this is a much higher vibration. So you're going to find that you're in a really, really great mode and feeling a lot of inner peace and feeling a lot of inner connection. But this is also about spiritual guidance and help in the material world here where you've been patient. So something big is coming to you guys. Now don't get caught up in details, when it comes to this, because over the next sort of 6 weeks, sort of got, there could be a little bit of, oh, it's exciting, but, I'm a bit frustrated. I can't move forward with a direction that I wanted to move forward with. So that's sitting right there. Now that's sort of telling me with these cards on the outside here that you thought you wanted this direction, but this direction was limiting you. So you're being told to stop. It reminds me of a Mercury retrograde, but we've just had one, so I can't see there's going to be one before December. But it's some sort of retrograde. Mars is going retrograde, I think. So this could be something to do with the Mars retrograde because, it's like, oh no, I'm going on this track and this is the plan and I'm going to work for this and then I'm going to get all this money and then I'm going to do that for next year or for 5 years' time. And it's sort of saying, oh no, something's stopping this long-term plan that you didn't actually want. Your higher self didn't want it, but you thought it did because your lower mind did. And you've been working in it for a while and you just think this is what you're doing. So the higher self gets in, it's like, hold on a minute, and then the higher self kicks in and goes, okay, give myself a little bit of a breather. Well, I think I'm not actually doing that, and then I'm going to get to realise what it is I'm really wanting, what it is that is going to make me happy. Because this direction wasn't actually making you happy. So when you're feeling like you're being held up with something, it's like it's coming from almost the wrong energy, to be honest. And this is why your higher self is here going, hold on a minute. Something else is going to come from this. It's going to, it's like that person that can't get to that place they're wanting to get because the plane's delayed. But while they're sitting there and they went off to this cafe, they could meet the person they marry. So it's sort of like that. Might be not the best example because this is more like really frustrated that you're feeling like you've been taken off track, but then you might find that you weren't actually really all for being on that track anyway, and that there's something else coming. And again, that comes when this comes in and says, hey, this is what you're wanting. This is the security and the freedom. But it really comes here too in the mind of, again, the eureka moment of, oh my gosh, I finally got it. I finally know what I want to do. I'm going to bring all my skills in together. Now this is like the World card, but it's where we're bringing in all the elements and going, okay, I've got this skill, this skill, this skill, and this skill, and I'm going to bring it in and make this out of it. It's like making a cake. You need, it's alchemy. It's like the recipe of. So this is where you are creating from. And so here the creation is very clear. The intention is really clear. And it comes clear suddenly with this card, and then the decision is made on it. So like I said, whatever holds things up, it's absolutely fine because this gives you the time to actually just have a breather and come up with your own solutions of what you're really wanting. And when it comes from you, this is really you. This is what you really want. It hasn't come from someone else working it out for you or suggesting it to you. It's come from you. And so here in your environment for water, you've got this very, very good news, forward movement, again about career, but something quite different. So some changes are coming up within your career that's going to be more stimulating and quite new for you. So very exciting. Like I said, if you're wanting to either do investments, go into property, things around property, because a lot of it seems to be around property here, but of any form of business, of course it's going to be relative to what your interests are, to what you have been doing, to what your work's been doing, but there's a new element here, which is where I started with this, which is relative to learning new things, new beginnings, but not necessarily something you'd anticipated, more something that's come through your higher self. So the outcome here is all about soul connections, and interesting because we started off here with the love card, and you opening up for love, and here we have the soulmate card. Now, there has been a little bit of disappointment here with situations, but I feel like this is a time when resolve is happening. This is a time when you're understanding inner peace. And so anyone who's been in a relationship where there's been a lot of stress, it's a time where you can actually resolve that past pain. And when I say there's a little bit of healing here, there's a bit of healing here to do at an emotional level to do with past experience, so that you can be open-hearted and to what you're going to be receiving in the future. Because this is, this, like I said, we pick blue, this is about water, this is her, she's the water signs, she's an emotional and intuitive being that, sort of feels a bit open. If she's Cancer, she's got a shell, so she's protecting, that very soft stuff underneath that shell. So there sometimes is a need for protection, but what we can find with the water, we're overprotective. We feel so like we can be, molded and shaped like water, molded into whatever shape, or changed, or transformed by the vibrations. Just as water, if you were to put a beautiful word or sing a beautiful note, and you would get a beautiful image from the water. So just because we are water as well, we're in that vibration with others, and that person, and there's a person that is resonating more negative words or more negative thoughts and vibrations, we're actually being affected. All those water molecules in our body are actually changing for that. So, there is a need to protect yourself when you've got that water energy. But, the natural state for water is to be open, to be able to share, to give love. It's like, what would be the point, unless it was truly for love, So they're not going to think, oh, we'll do it for marriage or we'll do it for money. They're going to do it for love. So, when we felt let down by those we've been close to or cared about, it's been very hard to let the guard down again. But it's saying that, the past is gone, the past is past, the past is there to learn from, and it has no relevance to your future unless we talk about it, think about it, or bring it into the future. So there's a command I would do for that one, which is, I command my spirit to crash all timelines and make me real now. And we say it 3 times, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. So when we're crashing timelines and making us real, what it means is that we're being almost artificially caught into these timelines of reoccurring patterns. And if you wonder why does this keep happening to me, what is this pattern? It's because we've had trauma associated with a timeline, which brings it into the now. So we've either got to go into our head and change that perspective of it, change it mentally in our head, if you like, send it love, change, even just, but really we can't relive that experience. And even if we talk about that experience, unfortunately, that's where counselling falls down, because we're reiterating it back into our energy field. Now, the trauma does sit in the body, and, there's sound frequency that we can do to clear that, but doing command to crash the timelines actually, stops all those timelines, because the timeline is not a good thing that you want to be on. You want to be creating from your highest excitement, and that is going to create the best timeline possible. But anything else is coming from trauma. So, in other words, what I'm saying here is find your way of going in and healing that past trauma so that you're not affected, so that you can be sharing with people without feeling like, oh, I need to defend myself now. If you can stay in your heart space, even when someone is saying something that you don't like to hear, or you actually can diffuse the whole thing just through you being in your love and your heart at that person. If you come from a defensive place, well, then you're sort of getting caught into a bit of a situation that you really would not prefer. So that's my tips for the day. And like I said, for to sum up, for those that chose blue, that have picked the water energy, you've got a great future ahead of peace and of success, moving into the right things. You have a huge heart that you really are, open and willing to share with others, even with those that you even feel annoyed with, your partner, you know, or new situations, but past situations have affected that. So, again, it's really just about being in the now, and, whenever we assume something, generally that's when we fall down and start going downwards. We may hear something and assume, oh, this is because this person's saying that, and that's similar to what this person said, and now that's making me shut my heart down. And it's like, do we know that's true? That could be an assumption. So if we're assuming something, in other words, what I'm trying to say is we do need to ask ourselves, how do we know that is a fact? How do we know that's true? Because, the head really wants to steer us in different directions quite often, and it can play tricks on us, and this is tricky, and it's like with the magician, it is a tricky card. So, use it to create, use it to build the business, the life, the changes, the decisions, the sudden realizations that you've just had, and to change your life for how you want it to be. And don't, and then, you've used your mind for that. You've made your plans, you've written down your goals, you've done your intention. Now go off in the garden, now let the head go, and don't be busy overthinking, because it's really what destroys the heart and destroys us from loving each other at a much deeper level. And when I say loving each other, I mean unconditionally loving, and not feeling, well, I can't love you because you did this to me, or you said that to me, etc., etc. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and I may do more of these readings. We'll see how this goes. I know I haven't done one for a year. It's been a long time, but I just felt the inspiration to do it again and again. I think the last one I did, I'll have to check, I think was again on the equinox. But I do intend to do the next one on the solstice, the winter and summer solstices for the world. And I may come on before then and do some shorter readings. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Bye.